Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started now. So today's webinar is Compliance Made Easy, Automate Training Workflows with the Salesforce LMS. So just wanted to start off with introductions. My name's Matt Peterson. I'm a relationship director at MapleLMS. I work closely with our clients at MapleLMS to partner with them on training, continuing education, and professional development programs, and really to help them achieve their objectives around those training programs. I'm joined today by my colleague Avin, and together we'll be guiding you through how Salesforce LMS can simplify and automate your compliance processes. Nice to have you with us, Avin. Would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Matt. And nice to be here on this webinar again. So my name is Avin. I'm a key account manager with MapleLMS. I'm also the customer training manager. So I train our customers on our products and solutions and pretty much everything around that.
Great. Thanks, Avin. So today we're going to explore the benefits of automating compliance workflows and how those can work to save you time, reduce manual oversight, and really help you stay compliant effortlessly. We'll be discussing how this can become an automated process with an LMS integrated with Salesforce. But really, this automation could happen with whatever system of records you may be using, if it's another CRM system or perhaps even a human resource management system that sometimes our clients choose to integrate with. Just a couple of housekeeping items. We really encourage you to ask questions through the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. We'd love to hear your questions and any thoughts that you may have as well. We're also going to be releasing a few poll questions throughout today's presentation, and we'd love for you to participate in those as well. So let's just quickly move along. First, we're going to talk about what is compliance training and why automation matters. So why do we have compliance training and why is it necessary and why do you really want to automate the process? So when we do talk about compliance training, that usually comes about as a result of a number of different factors. A lot of times it may be based on legal reasons and regulatory obligations, such as required by an industry like HIPAA in healthcare or OSHA for workplace safety. Sometimes it may arise out of local, state, and federal laws. So oftentimes anti-discrimination, sexual harassment, data protection like GDPR may have laws regulating this. You may have your own internal company policies or onboarding compliance. So things like ethics, a code of conduct, a code of conduct, or security policies that you need all of your employees to follow. And there may also be some ongoing training requirements for licensure. So financial and legal services are known for this, or healthcare professionals. And sometimes it may come out of a need for risk management. And this may be based on identified risks within your organization, such as cybersecurity or safety, or it may be to mitigate risks if you've had an incident. You may be required to conduct training to prevent any future incidences from occurring. So we're going to release our first poll question. It should be on your screen. And we're just asking you, what type of compliance training does your organization prioritize? So you can choose all that apply, or if one's not represented, we'd love to have your thoughts in the chat or Q&A of one that may be impacting your organization. Compliance is really a critical aspect of any organization, particularly in regulated industries like healthcare, finance, manufacturing. And ensuring employees complete required training on time can really be a daunting task. So traditionally, compliance training management has been manual and time-consuming, increasing the risk of missed deadlines and compliance breaches. And today we'll discuss how Salesforce LMS can automate compliance workflows to reduce this burden and really help your organization stay compliant with minimal manual intervention. Really, we're talking about a system here today that you do some initial setup to automate these workflows, and then you kind of set it and forget about it. So no longer chasing after employees to complete compliance training, reminders to managers, employees, all that will be taken care of with the flow that we're going to talk about today. So moving along, we're going to talk about simplified compliance management. So one of the key advantages of automating compliance workflows with the Salesforce LMS is really the ability to simplify the entire compliance management process. With automation, you can automatically assign the right compliance courses to employees based on their roles, their track progress, and ensure they complete the necessary certifications or, in some cases, recertifications. And it eliminates the need for constant manual follow-ups, allowing your HR and compliance teams to focus on other strategic tasks. Automation ensures that no one's missed a required course or certification deadline, and it really keeps your company fully compliant. So there's kind of four key points here when you're talking about setting this up. The first one is auto-assigning role based on training. So this feature automates the assignment of training modules based on the employee's role, ensuring the right training is delivered to the right individuals without manual intervention. Secondly is to track the progress automatically. So with the system, the training progress is monitored in real time, allowing you to stay updated without constant oversight. Third is managing certifications effortlessly. So certification management is streamlined, making it easy to track expiration dates and renewals. And then fourth is really simplifying that recertification, automating the recertification process to ensure the compliance standards are met really with minimal effort. Next, we're going to talk about the seamless integration with existing Salesforce tools. So once again, we're referring to Salesforce, but this could be a CRM or it could be another system of records like a human resource management system. So a major advantage of using the Salesforce or system of records with an integration with your LMS, you can leverage existing CRM data to streamline the assignment of the training of the courses. For example, if an employee changes roles or departments, the Salesforce LMS will automatically update their required compliance training based on their new responsibilities. Similarly, if you have a new employee, it'll recognize that employee, what their role or department is, and automatically assign and enroll them into the appropriate compliance training that they need to be enrolled in. The integration also allows you to track training progress alongside other employee performance metrics within Salesforce. So some of you, if you're using Salesforce for your sales teams or support teams, you probably have other KPIs that you're measuring using that. And so you're really getting a 360-degree view of all your employees and their training and learning progress, and also what kind of results they're getting. So this really provides a unified view of the employee development and their compliance. And this integration reduces the need for switching between platforms, making compliance management more efficient. So the first part is assigning the training with the CRM data. So by leveraging the CRM data, you can assign the training based on the roles, departments, or the specific needs that, like we talked about, and it ensures personalized learning paths for the users. So, you know, an employee who's not going to need to focus on this wouldn't be enrolled in inappropriate training, and it allows them really focus on the training that's going to most help them do their job. Second is syncing the training with performance. So tracking training progress and tying it directly to the employee performance data really enables better insight into skill development and performance outcomes. And then the next two are kind of combined in that you can manage everything from one system in Salesforce. So the manager can manage everything in Salesforce with your LMS fully integrated within. And Salesforce will streamline the management tasks without leaving the ecosystem. And then eliminate platform switching So that's also for your users. So in terms of the user experience, the user won't have to switch between a learning management system and Salesforce. Everything's in one place and it increases productivity and really reduces your training time. Finally, we have the boost the training efficiency. So automation and data syncing really improves the overall training efficiency, leading to faster onboarding and skills development for your entire workforce. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Avin. He's going to talk a little bit about compliance pathways.
Thank you, Matt. And pathways, now that brings up something that many of our customers and also attendees on these webinars have already heard about. So pathways are more like learning paths. And when we talk about customizable pathways or a customizable compliance pathway, we're talking about paths or a learning pathway that includes maybe courses or trainings that an individual needs to go through before they could achieve a particular certification or could be considered as compliant. So, and this entire setup gives you a powerful feature of creating these customizable compliance pathways. So you can, or let's just say you do get the ability to create customizable pathways based on employees' roles, maybe departments or industry regulations. You can design different training paths for different teams, ensuring that everyone gets the training they need for their specific role. And just for instance, compliance training in healthcare is kind of different from finance or manufacturing. And with this Salesforce LMS setup, you do have this option to easily accommodate all those industry specific needs. And once this setup is completed, these pathways run automatically, delivering the right training to the right employees at the right time, the right individuals at the right time without the need of manual adjustments. So really compliance pathways could be group of different courses and trainings that an individual might need to complete before they can earn a certificate of compliance or an achievement or maybe get compliant with that course. Now, we look at these steps as well, or what other options are. But I also wanted to talk about a few more advantages that come along with this entire setup. So we're talking about automating different processes through your Salesforce LMS setup or your LMS and Salesforce integrated setup. And one of those core benefits or biggest advantages would definitely be centralized reporting and analytics. So now, with your Salesforce and LMS integrated, it provides a powerful centralized reporting capability or becomes your reporting hub, which basically allows you to monitor compliance across your organization, maybe according to departments or groups or maybe based on individual level. And then instead of manually gathering the data, the LMS automatically generates real-time reports and data points and synchronizes with an individual's records as well. So ideally, it shows who has completed training, who is due for certification, and who is non-compliant. Now, these reports can be shared easily with stakeholders or auditors, ensuring transparency and accountability. Now, with this overall process, you not just save time, but also avoid any costly non-compliance penalties, I would say. Now, there are a few micro benefits into it or some micro features I would like to point out. So real-time compliance reports, that's one of the core benefits of this centralized reporting and analytics. So with this, we are getting a real-time report generated into our Salesforce where we can monitor compliance across different departments organization-wide. You can effortlessly audit and review training records for accuracy and completion. And with that, it's also sending you completion rates. So you do have a view of completion rates and you can monitor learners' progress and completion rates in just a few clicks. And then I did mention about report sharing. So sharing your compliance report with key stakeholders instantly ensures transparency and collaboration. And I think with that, we may have another poll question coming up on the screen as well shortly, and that would really be to learn about how you currently track or how does your organization currently track compliance training? And it's a single choice question, so I'm sure there are different ways. our participants track compliance, and we'll get to see some results out of this. But in the meantime, just redirecting back to you, Matt, or I think there's just one more item I wanted to speak about before I move it to you. So that one more item is actually related to automated notifications and reminders, which again is one of the core benefits. And now, when we speak about automated reminders and notifications, now this is a tedious task. If you're managing everything manually, like if you're managing your compliance training, everything manually, then it's a big task on you or maybe on your team to send out reminders, notifications on time. And it's always best to automate this process or have a way to automatically remind people to complete their courses or trainings on time and be compliant as per the process. Now, this is really an advantage over here, automated reminders and notifications, and really one of the most tedious aspects of a compliance management is sending reminders to employees about upcoming trainings and any deadlines or certifications. But with this Salesforce and the LMS integrated setup, this process could also be fully automated. So the system can send reminders and notifications about training, and not just training, but deadlines, any items that are due, or if there's low progress recorded. Different notifications can go out, different reminders could go out, and this automation can ensure that employees are constantly aware of their compliance requirements without the need for manual follow-ups. And it also reduces the risk of non-compliance due to human oversight and helps you keep your team on track. So definitely one of the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest advantages is this automated reminders and notifications in this entire setup. And with that, there could be automatic notifications for deadlines and renewals, reminders for incomplete trainings or anything that's overdue, and any notifications or reminders to prevent non-compliance errors. So with that, Matt, I'll just bring it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Avin. I just want to talk a little bit about scalability and flexibility. So really, as your organization grows, so does the complexity of managing compliance, right? Managing 20 employees versus 200,000 is a little different. So the Salesforce LMS is really built to scale with your company, allowing you to add new users, add new trainings and workflows with ease. It also offers flexibility in adapting to new regulatory requirements or changes in industry standards. And this, no doubt, is probably going to come about at some point that you need to update. Maybe the actual content of the training changes, or maybe if you have an assessment associated with that training, you need to change some of those answers, or maybe the frequency of when the compliance training is required may change. So that makes it real easy. You can go in and update things and go back to your existing workflows. And whether your organization is small or large, the LMS can really adjust to these needs, and ensuring compliance is maintained regardless of the scale of your organization. And the scalability really means that even as your business evolves, you won't have to worry about outgrowing your compliance management system. So we're talking about scale and training with the workflows. Salesforce LMS allows organizations to scale the training workflow seamlessly, accommodating increasing numbers of users without compromising any of the quality, adapting to the regulations and compliance. So adapting quickly and switching gears is really easy, done with customizable workflows that ensure your training stays up to date. And then finally, ensuring ongoing compliance. So maintaining compliance effortlessly with real-time monitoring and automated checks. It allows you to focus on growth while staying compliant. And as we mentioned, if there's any change in legislation or policy, it'll allow you to quickly change training materials and deploy them and schedule retraining as necessary. Next, we're going to go. Next, we're going to talk about just a recap of the key benefits that we talked about setting up this Salesforce LMS for compliance. So really, it's the significant time savings. To me, that's the number one. And it really, it says reduce manual work, but it can really eliminate all the manual work associated with this. The seamless integration with existing Salesforce tools ensures a unified approach to employee management and compliance. There's greater accuracy in the tracking and reporting compliance status. And as we finished up saying, the ability to scale and adapt to future compliance needs as your organization grows. So together, these benefits ensure that your organization really remains compliant, efficient, and well prepared if you were ever audited or had any regulatory checks on your organization. So at this time, we're going to release a third poll. And in this poll, we're just asking you, what challenges does your organization face in compliance training? And if you have more than one, feel free to check all that apply. And if there's another one, feel free also to post it in the chat if there's something else. So now we're at an exciting point of our webinar. We're going to actually take you live into MapleLMS integrated with Salesforce and show you some key points of how you get this set up and what the user experience is like and what the management experience is like. So Avin's going to go ahead and share a screen and we'll dive right into a demo.
All right, man, and I'm just switching my screen. Let me know if you see the other screen over here.
Yeah, we see your screen.
Okay. So I'm going to walk through different features that really help you automate these process, and also these features uh, is something that you should keep in mind when you're looking out for a learning management system that works with Salesforce and offers a similar capability. So let me just make some room over here. So to begin with, you would begin with your educational program, or say with a course that you build out for, or even a pathway that you create for your compliance training. In this case, we have a course that's built out for business ethics and a code of conduct. Now, really something for demonstration over here, but what I have is a few learning modules into this course, along with some restrictions added as well. So when you're building out your programs, there are certain settings that you can take advantage of to make this a automated process, which I'll walk you through in a bit. So this is what our course looks like. Really simple setup, just with a interactive video, a quiz, and a certificate of completion. The first thing that I wanted to enable over here is a process to automatically enroll participants into this particular course. Now, we talked about different ways to automate, and this particular site we are looking at, it's not yet Salesforce. We are logged in into a administrator's account into the learning management system. This would be MapleLMS instance. And the first thing really is to do is to set up a automatic enrollment process. So what I'm walking you through here is a enrollment method that allows you to set up a automatic enrollment process. And what it could do is it could create a condition for different types of users or employees. In this case, let's just say employees, and have them automatically enrolled into a particular compliance training based on some criteria. So if you see here, there are a lot of settings over here. For example, setting up a start time and an end time, and some notification options that can be enabled, as well as the duration, the enrollment duration for an individual. So, but just skipping all of these options quickly, you do have an option to set up a custom welcome message at this point. So when somebody gets enrolled, a custom welcome message could be sent out. And for the criteria, we can use something from the user's profile. Now, we did talk about automating data synchronization as well between the two systems, between Salesforce and the LMS. And one aspect to that is um, fetching or bringing any attributes from a user's profile or a user account in Salesforce to a MapleLMS's profile. So that also happens through an integration. So my filters could really be based on any of these fields that I see over here, maybe based on a reference number, a Salesforce ID, or maybe based on a particular department or a group. So for instance, if I were to automatically enroll all individuals from, say, sales team or sales department, all I have to do is set up a condition over here. If needed, we can segregate these into different groups as well and set a limit. But if we add that, and let's just add that, we are actually creating a condition over here to automatically enroll participants who match that particular criteria or who have that information in their profile field. So that's really your first step. And at this point, I'm showing you things from the LMS. We'll also move into Salesforce, look at options that you get through Salesforce, and most importantly, the data tracking too. But along that lines, setting up an automatic enrollment, what I'd also like to show is an option to set recompletion conditions. So these are a few settings that we can apply at the initial stage before we even allow enrollments into our course, or even if even before we publish this course to the organization. What we can do here is set up recompletion conditions. So maybe after completing the course and after a duration of 365 days, this individual may need to retake this course as a compliance training. And now for that, you don't really have to set up any processes. What you can do here is just enable a recompletion criteria, maybe send out custom or set up custom messages from here regarding recompletion, and simply save these changes. So what that does is creates a recompletion criteria into your compliance course. And any individual who completes this compliance course today will be automatically reminded after a particular duration, in this case 365 days, and will automatically receive an email from the learning management system to take this compliance training course again. Now, if you're concerned about the message that goes out, we do have flexibility to add our own message right over here along with the subject as well. So with this course, what we've done, we've enabled two items. We have enabled recompletion, we have enabled automatic enrollment. And now I'll move on to Salesforce from here and walk you through a few items. So let me just log in quickly to my Salesforce. So one of the core benefits here with these two systems integrated is that not just your user data, meaning your employees' data, but also your course profile or your course data gets synchronized with your Salesforce environment. So now that we are logged in over here to our Salesforce, we can go into more and maybe just pull up courses. And we should see the business ethics and code of conduct course that we've already built out into a learning management system. But it's an automatic sync. So as soon as you build your course, it gets synced within your Salesforce as well. But here what I have is some course profile. So if I go to related, I'll see individuals who took this course or who are enrolled into this course. And I think at this point, I just have one participant or two participants in this course. And it does shows their progress as well, along with the enrollment date and if any achievements were done by the users, such as certificates or maybe any badges for completing a compliance course. But we'll look at more examples of these. What I'm showing here is the data synchronization between the two systems. Now, another part is again assigning compliance trainings, maybe to specific departments or to maybe specific user groups. So you get that capability as well with this Salesforce LMS setup. And for that, I'm just going to switch into MapleLMS within the same environment. And I'll see an option to assign courses. So now as a manager, if I'm logged into my Salesforce, or maybe as an administrator who wants to assign trainings organization wide, you'll see options to go in to assign course. And what you have here is an option to bulk assign a course, or say assign a course to multiple users or a particular user profile containing multiple individuals. So for instance, these are all my Salesforce user profiles. And now this process can be automated too. We looked at one example over there. We can also automate this process through Salesforce. But here's another example where you can maybe manually pick a particular user group and assign compliance training or specific trainings to that particular group as well. So for instance, if I were to assign maybe the same course or maybe a different compliance training course to sales managers organization wide, I can just go into assign course and I'll see a list of different courses that I have built out in the LMS. So again, data synchronization between both systems and really robust. So not just on a user level, but also on a course level. So for instance, here I have this ethics course and we can simply hit assign course. Now that runs a process and it enrolls those participants into the compliance course. Now coming back over here, since we are on this page, also wanted to look at an example of what this experience could be for an end user. So similarly, we are still in the Salesforce environment, and let me just go back to MapleLMS. And if you can see, we are still in Salesforce, but we're logged into our MapleLMS environment, and I can actually pull this business ethics course that we built out that we were looking at from a different view. So now at this point, quickly wanted to demonstrate how an individual can achieve certification as well. So now, assuming that an employee gets assigned this particular training, they would see that on their dashboard. We can have videos and different materials into our courses and trainings, and depending on our completion criteria, an individual might achieve a certificate of completion as well within this particular course. So now with that, I also have a quiz that is laid out within this course. And we've set this all just for demonstration purpose. So we're just walking you through different options that are available. But over here, I'm just going to go with this quiz and answer some of these questions that come along. And this could be a process as well. So when you have videos as your learning content, you have options to add maybe interactivity or knowledge checks on top of those questions as well. But clearly, we can add different or add on exercises such as a into a course, which is also recommended. So maybe after watching everything, watching all the content into your compliance training, you may want to assess an individual with a test. And this would just be an example of that. But now we've completed these couple of modules. We should then be able to unlock our certificate of completion. And there we go. Once we click on get your certificate, it can award a certificate to the individual right away. So pretty seamless process, both in terms of access and in terms of management as well. And now with that, I'm going to show one more example. Let's go back to our Salesforce and switch back to Sales Cloud. And now here, what I'll demonstrate is another example of what this data synchronization does or what this setup does in terms of data. So I'm going to pull up a contact record and then I'm going to walk you through a few reports that could be built out. Now, in this case, I'm putting up a contact record just to show an example, but clearly with internal employees, these could be Salesforce users. So this data may go straight into a user's profile, but the data that I'm referring to is around courses that an individual is taking, progress, completion status, creation date, enrollment date, and I see that this individual has also taken the business ethics course and has got a 100% completion over here. Similarly, you could track the certificates that an individual has achieved. So at this point, we're looking at data on an individual level. Earlier, we looked at data on a course level where we see a list of participants and their completion and progress. So these are some capabilities between these two systems, and mainly with this integration. And then coming to this option over here, just wanted to walk you through some reports that you could build out into your Salesforce, maybe some dashboards to track different data points around your compliance trainings. So for example, I may track enrollment by month. That would give me information about participants who enrolled into a particular training or who were assigned a particular compliance training, maybe according to by month. So quickly, let's pull up this data. We have about 37 records and the charts just coming up. So now we have a bar graph view of course enrollments by month, and if we just hover, we'll see the number of enrollments as well. And just scrolling down, let me sort this out. So we should see the current month. There we go. And then here in October, in the business ethics and code of conduct, there has been one enrollment for John and a few more courses where this individual enrolled. So that's one data point to track. And similarly, different reports could be built out. So maybe to track course completion status or a course progress report. These are the capabilities that you get. And then just going back to some automations that we discussed about. So we looked at some options that allow you to set up an enrollment method, like an automatic enrollment method, and also set up a recompletion criteria. That is pretty much a one-time process. Unless you really want to change that process, you may not need to go into a course or may not need to go into your Salesforce and make any changes. That process can just live in and go on forever. And further, you get this great data tracking. So anything that's happening into your learning environment in terms of learning, progress, and completions regarding compliance, that data is coming back to your Salesforce. And then you have visuals in front of you to track all of these data points, so maybe different reports and dashboards. And with that, I'll also quickly pull up one more example of a dashboard. Now, this might be a
Even
slightly different.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, even, but just before you leave the system, we had a very thoughtful question in the chat. Michael asked about exporting assessment reports based on each attempt. So you can cover that after you finish, but I thought while you're in the live in the system, we have really robust reports to evaluate assessments and the results on those.
Mhm.
Yes, Avin.
Yes. So, and these reports could, I mean, if we're syncing, we do have option to sync that data as well with Salesforce. So we can either get that from Salesforce, or we can either get that information from within the LMS. And I'll quickly walk you through an example of that too. But here what I have is a dashboard that shows different data points for different teams. So below we're tracking revenue by sales representative, and that's also pre and post training data. So clear comparison between the progress of an individual pre and post training. And this could be considered for compliance training as well, or we can have similar data points for tracking compliance training. So maybe individuals who completed compliance training, individuals who have taken compliance training multiple times, or maybe widgets to track individuals who have not completed a particular compliance training. And with that, I'll switch back and just pull in another example. And this time we'll look at it from the learning management system. So I'll pull up a course that has maybe an assessment, a quiz, and we can look at the data of that quiz. Okay, so here I have this course which had a quiz around CompTIA, and then quickly I can go into attempts, and that will show me all the individuals who have taken this test, their email address, their name, status, start date, completion date, the time it took, and the scores. So the grade achieved, the overall grade, as well as grade for each question. You do have an option to review an individual's attempt as well, and maybe download any statistics.
The statistics come in real handy too, I think, for many of our clients because it'll tell you what your top performing questions are, your worst performing questions. And if you really have a question that people aren't performing well on, it may be an indication that it's a poorly written question, or it may indicate that you're not providing the proper training or education to support them understanding that question. So you can see there's all kinds of statistics about the questions and the exam. So really, really helpful when you're evaluating those. We also have a survey feature. So it's kind of like an ungraded assessment that you can easily add to a training course to ask the individuals, what did you think of the training? What could be improved? Did you learn, did you reach the outcomes that you were hoping to? And or I always love the question, what are you going to do differently in your job or in your role after completing this training? I think is a great survey question to have. So Avin kind of showed you all the data obviously exists in the LMS, and the LMS has 50 plus very robust pre-configured reports, the ability to create custom reports, pull in any of those custom fields, which I think Michael asked about, if you can and pull in any of these fields into the reports, which you can do. But with the integrated system, you choose the data that you want to bring into Salesforce or into your CRM or system of records, and then you're going to have other data in there. So what are the possibilities of combining kind of that data and harnessing it? So great demo. Thank you so much, Ava.
Yeah.
Was there anything else
And
you
with
wanted to show live?
Well, that's really what I planned for today. And as you might know, we can get into the system, and this could get really lengthy because there's a lot to show. But that's what I planned for today. And with that, I'm gonna go back to my slide as well and redirect back to you.
Right. Well, that was exciting, and I think it brings it to life, right? How this whole process can really streamline everything. Um, so just in conclusion, automating your compliance training workflows with Salesforce LMS not only simplifies the process, but also ensures that your organization remains audit ready and compliant at all times. With some of the features that we showed, centralized reporting, automated notifications, customizable training paths, you really eliminate, I should say, not to just reduce, but eliminate manual work and really improve accuracy across your compliance efforts. And then as your organization grows, Salesforce LMS scales with you, ensuring that compliance management really remains seamless no matter how large your workforce becomes. So we hope you were able to participate in the polls, and we wanted to release the results of the polls. So if we can release the results of question number 1, and just we'll see how people participated. Oh, wow. Okay. So we took some of the most common compliance results here, and I can see that, yeah, the group is doing many of these: harassment prevention, data privacy and security, health and safety, and ethics. So those are really some of the most common. And I know in previous roles, I've kind of had to do this. One thing I'll say about this too, and when you're using an LMS, particularly to provide on-demand training, you want to make sure you have a low level of interactivity. Just having someone watch passively a 60-minute video or a 30-minute video really isn't too exciting. So we really give you all those tools to make sure that your on-demand training is very engaging. Okay, and we released the question number 2. How does your organization currently track compliance training and completion? So we have some using spreadsheets, some using their LMS, and some not tracking at all. So hopefully you got some tips here of how to incorporate this into an integrated system and really automate those processes and eliminate those spreadsheets and manually tracking. And if you're not tracking, shame on you, because what if you get audited, or what if someone wants to see those results? And then finally, we have poll 3. What challenges does your organization face in compliance training? And really, it looks like it kind of covers the board. So keeping content up to date, very easy to do to update content. If you have it in an LMS, you can quickly update it, and you can switch on a dime. Um, okay, so now let's just turn to any questions we have. So Michael, I think we've answered your questions that you posted in the chat, and we'll go to Q&A. Let me see if I'm seeing anything else. Um, okay, so I see John asked, how would I get started with this? If you know, what's the first step to kind of get this all started? Avin, would you like to just respond on that?
Well, to get started, clearly you need to make sure you have a learning management system and you do have Salesforce. I'm assuming that you have Salesforce organization wide. So the next step is really to look for a learning management system that integrates with your Salesforce and can provide these benefits. And if you like, you could reach out to our website as well and maybe schedule a call to look at the benefits that we could provide out of this.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Right? The first step is really to make sure you have the right technology in place. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Salesforce. Our example was Salesforce, but if you're using some system of records, associations will often have an association management system. You may have another CRM, or it may make sense with human resource systems or a payroll system. Anything you do to kind of your system of records and system of truth for your employees that you have. So that's what I'm seeing as questions. If you have any final questions, feel free to post those. We're also happy to continue the conversation. I think on the next slide, we do have our contact information. Um, so we appreciate you attending and thank you for the interest in the topic of compliance made easy. And I hope the information was helpful and demonstrated why an LMS integrated with Salesforce creates many efficiencies and a better learning experience for your learners and ensures you're maintaining compliance. We hope you're ready to make the next step in making compliance effortless with the Salesforce LMS. We'd love to hear from you. You can feel free to reach out. I'll also mention this webinar will be posted on our website for future on-demand viewing at www.maplelms.com. We should have that up within a day or two. And we'd love to hear from you. So that'll conclude our webinar for today. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy the rest of your day.